Hi, this is Alex with the Sachem Public Library, and today we are going to take a quick dive into the Liquify Persona in Affinity Photo. So the first thing we're going to need to do is open the image that we want to work with. So we're going to go to File, then go to Open, and then we're going to browse to where we put our image. In this case, it's in the Affinity Photo Demos folder, and I have this image of water. So one thing to note before we go into the Liquify Persona is we want to make sure that the layer that we're working on is selected. So if you have multiple layers that you're working on in an image under Affinity Photo, go to your Layers tab, and then make sure that the image that you're going to be working with is highlighted in blue. Once that is selected, we're going to go over to the Liquify Persona, and then you'll notice that you have a handful of tools here that you can start working with. So you have the hand tool. This is so that way you can move your image around. Then we have the zoom tool where we can zoom in or out on a particular location. So if we look in the bottom left at the tool tip, we have click to zoom in on a point, click plus alt to zoom in and to zoom out about a point, drag right to zoom in, drag left to zoom out, and drag plus alt to zoom to the marquee selection. Okay, now that we've covered zoom, let's move on to the next tool. So the next tool we have Liquify Push Forward. So if I have this tool selected, I can start moving the liquid around and pushing it in the direction that I'm moving the tool in. Drag to push pixels forward. This tool here, Liquify Push Left, drag to push pixels orthogonally, and then I can drag plus alt to reverse the direction of the pushed pixels. So I can move the pixels up or down depending on how I'm pushing the pixels. The next tool I have is a Liquify Swirl tool. So I can drag or hold to twirl pixels. So I can spin these pixels around. Drag plus alt to twirl counterclockwise. So it will go in the opposite direction. Drag and shift will twirl more slowly, so I can get a more gentle effect. Now you may notice that this may be a little slow for what you're looking to do. So if you look on the right over here, you'll see size, hardness, opacity, and speed. So if you bring speed up, this changes how quickly it will move the mesh. Hardness changes the percentage of the mesh that is moved. So you can adjust these to fit your needs. You can change the opacity of the affected pixels, and then you can change the size of the brush that the pixels are moving with. So we can undo that and bring my brush size back down. And we'll drop our speed down a little bit and bring our hardness back to where it was. Okay, the next tool that we're going to take a look at is pinch. So drag or hold to pinch pixels in the location. Drag and alt to punch pixels. And drag and shift to pinch or punch slowly. Now we have the Liquify Punch tool. So this should punch pixels in or pinch pixels. Right here we have the Turbulence tool. So drag or hold to turbulence the mesh. So this will apply a turbulence to that location on the image. And here we have the Mesh Clone tool. So this allows us to set a source, and then we can clone the mesh based on that source. So let's undo back through some of these steps. And you can see what it's doing based on how the grid around the water is moving. If you don't want to see that mesh grid, you can uncheck this Show Mesh button, and you'll just see the liquid that you're working with. This allows you to reconstruct pixels back to the original because it is working off that source image. So if you use the reconstruct, it can put pixels back to where they were originally. We have two other tools here. So we have the Liquify Freeze and the Liquify Thaw tool. If we click on the Freeze tool and we highlight part of our image, it will be highlighted red. This allows us to put an effect onto our water, but the effect is not applied to anything that is frozen. So it will do nothing to that area. So we can use all of the tools we want, but nothing will happen to that water so long as it is frozen. So I can keep pushing and messing with the image, but the area that is under this red frozen layer will not be affected by anything that I'm doing with this tool. To thaw out your liquid, choose the Liquify Thaw tool and get rid of the frozen areas you want to remove. And now you can continue working on your entire mesh, including the areas that were previously frozen. Once you're happy with your finished liquefied image, what you can do is click Apply, and this will take the image that you were working with in the Liquify tool, apply the changes to that layer, and then bring you back to the photo persona with the modified image. If all you wanted to do was make liquefaction changes, you can go ahead and export your image now by going to File and Export, and then choosing your export type, and then saving it somewhere on your computer. Or you can continue editing your modified mesh with your regular photo persona tools. All right, this will conclude our Liquify Persona tutorial for today. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day.